one of the things I've come to learn over the years I've been in this industry is that, in my opinion, the number one and most important factor before any lifestyle modifications are made, any exercises are done, before any of the conventional things that you can think of, is to get your mind right, get your thinking right, and believe that you are capable of the changes you wish to make. Um, I say that because when I first started out, I took it upon myself to be all things to all clients. So that would typically involve me taking on that weight of responsibility and that motivation to instill in my clients the belief that I had in my ability and in their ability to lose weight, get healthy, whatever it might be. And ultimately, while someone in my position can advise and give their wisdom on what it takes to achieve whatever it is they wish to achieve, none of that in the bigger picture makes a profound difference if the person that's being spoken to, i.e., the client, the friend, whoever, doesn't take on that belief and become the person that they wish to be somewhere down the line. Typically, what happens is people stay in that projection of the future. They want to lose weight, 10, 20, 30, 40, 50 pounds, whatever the number might be. They might say, I want to be slim, I want to drop 2 dress sizes, whatever it might be. But what they do is they project an ideology of themselves. And coupled with the fact that, in my experience, a lot of clients are really maybe skeptical whether they can achieve what they say they want to achieve in the first place, and then they project some goal off into the future, it kind of makes it a big challenge, almost an impossible challenge. Subconsciously or maybe consciously, that is a burden to them. Now, I keep saying be who you want to be right now. So typically, 9 out of 10 clients that I see want to lose weight, if not all of them to some degree. So that is their projection. They want to be a slim person. They want to be a person 2 dress sizes smaller. What I say to them is, you've got to be in that right now. Assume that person right now. Because in reality, all that's happening is, in any point in your life, if you're not what you wish to be, that is purely because that's the experience you're having at that given moment. It doesn't mean that you can't have a new experience of yourself, rather than saying, essentially, I want to be this, which is a statement of changing who you are, which is, kind of impossible in my opinion. You can't change who you fundamentally are. You can alter the experiences you have of yourself, and I fundamentally believe that that is critical. It's gone to a point now, some 10 years into my career, where I can pretty much tell within 10 minutes or less of meeting a new client, less than 10 minutes, 5 minutes or even under, just what kind of success and profound weight loss that person will have working with me. It should go without saying that I give my all to that client as I would to anyone else. The only limiting factor is the person in front of me. And sure enough, those that get amazing results have immediately stepped into the right frame of mind without me having to put that across to them. I can see in their demeanour, in their face, in the way they carry themselves, that what they're about to do with me is just a formality to get them to where they know that that's where they're going to be. It's not do this and it might work. I'll give you a couple of examples. For me personally, when I was about 14 years old, I took a family trip to Florida. I'm from London. So I took a family trip to Florida, the whole Disneyland thing, summer vacation, etc. Big deal. It was a great trip. All I can remember is, apart from the great stuff we did, was the humidity in Florida, in Miami, was crazy. And as I said, I'm from London, so we get nothing like that here. Digressing a little bit, we were queuing at one of the attractions, I think it might have been Universal Studios, and being humid, being summer, kids, grown-ups, a lot of them wearing tank tops, vests, etc. And whatever queue we were in, it was a long time queuing. So I just happened to be gazing around, and this boy walked past me, and he kind of been much older than me, perhaps. And in my mind, wearing a vest, I noticed he had really muscly arms. And again, that could have just been a projection in my own mind as a kid that wasn't really reality. But anyway, that's beside the point. To me, he had muscly arms, and adding that to what I thought was a boy of a similar age kind of got me thinking. I've always been active and into sports, but at that age, 14, 15, whatever it might have been, I wasn't really doing any exercise, weight training, so to speak. And without any knowledge of weight training or what it took to weight train properly, etc., I kind of made a decision in my mind, never verbalized that to anyone, probably even to this day. But I said to myself, that boy's got muscles. I kind of like that. I wasn't envious of him. I was in admiration that that's what he had. And I said to myself, okay, when I get back, I'm going to start weight training because I admire what he has and I want that for myself. And that was it. At no point did I say to myself, even as a kid, oh, I wonder if I can do it, or it might be difficult, or etc., etc. Anything that projects something into the future that is not a certainty. It just never happened, and that wasn't a conscious thing. That just, maybe it was being such a young kid, maybe it's the innocence of youth. But I said to myself, okay, lifting weights will give me that, give me a body that, or the arms in that case that boy had. And I thoroughly just believed in cause and effect. You do something, the results will happen. And from the age of probably 16 to 17, I started weight training properly, and I've done so ever since. And I would like to say that I've more than surpassed what I thought was possible, simply by just doing what I knew to be the right thing and never doubting that I had the ability to do it. Bringing that back into a more of a real life situation for the people I work with, I deal with a lot of people who are successful in business, men and women, affluent, wealthy people. And one thing that always strikes me is that people, these wealthy clients with money, carry themselves in a certain way, and they just exude that wealthy kind of mentality. It's hard to explain, to verbalize, but I'm sure many of you could probably relate to what I'm talking about. And it's just an absolute knowing of who they are in terms of the successful businessman or woman, business owner, etc. And as time goes by and I get to know the client better, we start talking and chatting about other stuff other than just this is what we're doing, etc., etc. And I get to find out more often than not that people who have run businesses, who own their own businesses, have always had that way of being. That it's not something that they consciously said to themselves, oh, wouldn't it be nice to run a business? They just did what came naturally to them. And interestingly enough, more often than not, well, I don't think anyone has ever said that financial reward was their ultimate goal. But when asked, was your whole purpose for being in business when you first started to make a shed load of money? And every single person has categorically said, no, it's never been about the money. It's just been about involving myself and immersing myself in something that I was passionate about. So let me relate that back to my clients now, those who are looking to lose weight, some successfully and some, less than I would deem possible. So getting back on track, those very same people, when they're thinking about the goals they wish to achieve, so the weight loss, and their focus is on the weight loss, it may sound an obvious thing to say and almost goes without even thinking, but what I find is that they're so caught up in the end result, the losing the weight, the dropping the dress size, that they forget the here and now and what it takes to achieve what happens further down the line. So they're so caught up with jumping on the scales every other day and looking at the needle moving here and there, back and forth, projecting their fears of, oh, I haven't dropped this much weight in this amount of time, or etc., etc. That they just simply don't grab the bull by the horn, so to speak, and really immerse themselves in whatever it is that they're meant to be doing, whether it's dietary changes, working on specific exercises that I give them to do on their own, or even their application within the sessions that we have together. And needless to say, when their focus is off somewhere in the distance and they're focusing on the end result and getting so caught up with that, more often than not, they don't get the results they wish to get. So, tying it all back in together, I truly believe that there's nothing that we as human beings can't do physically, career-wise, aspiration-wise, whatever it is. It all boils down to believing that you are whatever it is you set out to be, and that clearly you need to have the right tools and knowledge to execute whatever it is you wish. That's where someone like myself comes into play. But that alone, without the belief and the application based on knowing that you're capable and trusting in yourself, at best gives you limited results, and sometimes really ends up with more or less just a constant cycle of trying and not trying, trying and not trying, and that can invariably go on forever. And it's about bringing that into a point of focus in the here and now, doing what's necessary, having the right mindset from the start. Before you do anything else, get your mindset right, because it will serve you better than any other piece of advice I can give you. You have to assume the very thing that you're aspiring to in the here and now, be it right now, and then obviously take on board relevant advice, do what's necessary, and I thoroughly believe that you can achieve everything that you've got as goals in your health, wellness and weight loss, and a hell of a lot more. A lot of people don't know what they're capable of in that regard, and hopefully over the weeks and months I can continue to empower you to really realise your potential. Remember, whatever you're experiencing now in terms of the body you have is only this point in time. All you have to do is shift your thinking, change the way you think, and you can change any experience that you have to an optimal one. It's as simple as that. Thanks for watching.